Peace to the planet. What I want to say is it's very important around these times to take inventory on who you are, what you are, and really dig deep into your shadow self. See why you're doing what you're doing. What do you need to get rid of? What type of childhood trauma are you still operating on? Are you still operating on information that you received when you were a child? Are you still operating on information that you receive from friends, from family, from the media, from social media, from the environment? What type of messages, what type of messaging, what type of thoughts are you thinking on a day to day basis? What type of ideas do you have about yourself on a day to day basis? How are you talking to yourself? Do you big up yourself? Do you tell yourself that you're amazing, that you're great, that you're wonderful, that you're a king or a queen or a god or a goddess? Are you telling yourself that you lack money or that you lack things or that you are less than who you truly are? You are less than the God that you have within self. How do you identify with you? How are you showing up in your environment? Are you expressing your true self? Do you have people or do you network with people that accept you for who you are? Do you network and do you collaborate with people that show you the best of you, that show you the best in you, that encourage the best in you? Or do you hang with people that you are just comfortable with, people that you've known for years? People that don't really mean you well, don't see the best in you, don't see the value in you, don't love and acknowledge the path that you're on, don't hate, don't shade, have slick comments all the time, right? Now is the time for separation, and now is the time to take inventory. Today, I'm recording this is Friday the 13th. This is supposed to be Friday the 13th associated with horror movies, Jason, right? We're in the last of the Jason months, July, August, September, October, November. We are in November and it's Friday the 13th. So look at what scares you in life. What scares you? What areas in life are you not being bold enough? What areas in life are you not being brave enough? Are you not speaking up when you want to speak up? Are you not expressing yourself because you're scared of judgment from other people? Are you not walking your path because you're worried about what other people say? Are you not living the lifestyle that you really want to live because you're scared to learn new skills, or you're scared to take new classes, or you're scared to make new moves, or you're scared to associate with different people and hang around different environments? Where did these ideas come from? Now, being that we have the sun in Scorpio and we're going to have the moon in Scorpio on Monday, it's really a time, especially passing this 11/11 window and going past October 31st, which was an opening for the underworld, right? The celebration of Samhain, which is really the opening of underworld spirits, doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing. The underworld is where you go when you sleep. When you close your eyes, you go into internal darkness and you astral travel through that same internal darkness. So darkness is nothing to be scared of. The underworld is nothing to be scared of. Your shadow self is nothing to be scared of. Your fears, your anxieties, your worries, your pains, your traumas are nothing to be scared of. But they do have to be identified. They do have to be discussed. They do have to be pondered on. And the problems of your past do need to be solved. And now that we are in Scorpio season, which is all about death, sex, transformation, and transmutation, now is the time universally that we should all be going under our own individual studies, really stepping back, going in nature if possible, going within, doing meditation, doing prayer, doing ritual, going to our altars, and really looking within self. And ask yourself questions. Ask your spirit questions. If you have questions about things about yourself, ask your spirit. Go within, ask the questions repeatedly in your spirit, in your mind. How can you overcome this? How can you get past this? How can you build this? How can you create this? Even if it's money, a lot of people are going through a lot of struggles with this coronavirus, with these lockdowns, new lockdown coming. People are getting sick. ask yourself, how can you figure out these problems? And your spirit, the underworld within, has an answer. The darkness within has an answer. But you have to initiate the contact. And then the underworld, which consists of your ancestors, the quote unquote dark spirits, which consist of your angels, they will be able to give you answers through your subconscious mind, through your thoughts on how you should move. But you have to ask. You have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to face your fears. You have to be willing to face your demons. And you have to be able to face your worries and the things that make you anxious. And part of this process is, again, identifying where these things come from, asking the questions, where do these thoughts come from? These thoughts of lack, these thoughts of worry, these thoughts of anxiety, these thoughts of non-wellness, these thoughts of insecurity. Where do these things come from? Because if we don't do this shadow work for ourselves, if we don't identify these ideas for ourselves, if we don't learn to think critically about the things that we take in from our environment, friends and family, and the media, then we are subject to be slaves to the environment, our friends, our family, and the media at large, and strictly follow instead of leading ourselves. And as we do this work, we have to realize that everyone is not going to be doing this work. Everyone is not following the patterns, the celestial patterns. They're not following the sun. They're not following the moon. They're not tapped into astrology. A lot of people think that is pseudoscience, even though the whole world is running off of these so-called astrology. That's pseudoscience, right? You have 12 signs in the zodiac. You have 12 years in your school year. You have your clock goes to 12, which corresponds to the 12 zodiac. Jesus had 12 disciples, right? So forth and so on. But you still think you have 12 cranial nerves, right? But you still think that this is a pseudoscience, is astrology. And there's some people who think that they don't want to follow this type of path. The reason that we even delve into astrology is so that we understand these patterns, so that we see what time it is. And this is a time, again, for the underworld. This is a time of transformation. This is a time of transmutation. This is a time of alchemy. But if you're tapped into the stars, if you're tapped into astrology, if you're tapped into your environment and learn how not to be reactive to the environment, to react to every news story, to react to everything someone tells you, but learn to be at peace with the things that are going on in your life and follow your own light, follow your own shining path, follow your own yellow brick road to your own Wizard of Oz, the wizard that is within, the magic that is within yourself, you're going to be caught up. And that's what's happening a lot today. Even with all these rappers that are getting shot and that are dying, these are all reminders of things that need to change. See, the end is here, but not the end that y'all think. The end that's here is the end of this cycle, the end of Pisces. And the book of Revelation in the Bible is really about this age of Pisces dying. And the final trumpet is Trump. Okay? So, and this year is the final trumpet, and the final trumpet is Trump. So that is some symbolism for your ass. So this weekend, today, really take time for yourself. Even if your days are busy, really take some time, separate an hour or even a couple hours a day. Write, look, just write out what's going on in the childhood. Write out the things that you are having difficulties with. Write out the things that you have problems with. Write out the things and the ways that you don't show up in the world, and start to ask yourself these questions on how you could solve these problems, and wait for the spirit world to give you the answer. He who seeks shall find. Who asks shall receive. The Kabbalion, the law of cause and effect. So create the cause, create the change that you want to see, create the change that you want to be, and start to put in the work of transformation, because it is a daily work. It takes repetition to get over childhood traumas, things that you may have had hardwired in your brain for 20, 30 years, and create new neural pathways of abundance, success, motivation, wealth, and high level spirituality, high vibrational being, to tap into that inner darkness, that will, and be able to make miracles and things manifest with your own powers. And that's why we're doing this type of spiritual work, those that are on this path. That's why we are in the studies, and that's why we are doing the shadow work. So we can master ourselves and we could meet the maxim that the Cometians laid, the ancient Egyptians, that said, "Man, know thyself," which is on the walls of the mystery school when the initiate came in. So really take this time to go into self, to know thyself, to learn thyself, to really do the shadow work, do the ugly work, do the work of looking at the things that you may have been avoiding and figure out how to be successful. All right? So it's Friday the 13th. Don't take this as a horror show. Eliminate the horrors that are within. Okay, horror, if you listen to the word horror, it has the root Horus, Horus. Okay, Horus, the falcon, the winged falcon that flies and has impeccable sight, impeccable vision. Okay, which is why Horus was personified as the falcon, because of the vision. So 2020 is the year of clear vision. So let's tap into the horror, use our horrors to tap into the horrors, tap into our horrors and rise above them. Peace, power, and prosperity to y'all.